One of the things that's come up, at least on the technology side, is how blockchain, which is obviously a much, at least it's a type of technology where you can really trace and record everything very, very specifically, how that's kind of feeding into retail. And I know you had mentioned this in our part of our conversation earlier that there's something called blockchain-based authentication. And when you're talking about some of these brands, like Moncler, for instance, tell us how you have seen that kind of evolve and maybe reduce some of that theft, fraud.
I will, and this is a great example. You were asking me a moment ago, but also about AI. So this is actually a great example of a technology that you just spoke about that was instituted and is now being circumvented by AI, and I'll tell you why. So the technology that you mentioned is not that new, I'd say inside of 5 or 7 years. And it's got a few variations, but if you're buying a Moncler jacket, to use your example, Canada Goose, lots of brands use this. Sure. You'll notice that in the tag, either the care and content label or in another place sewn inside the garment.
6 different labels.
Yeah, and it's particularly or more often represented as a QR code. In the case of Moncler, they've actually it's just their logo, which is kind of a hologram. You scan it, and so there was a methodology there that in order to authenticate the product, whether from whether it's resale or it's a fake or whatever it is, you would scan or take a photo of that QR code or hologram or whatever it was. And the point was that it was supposed to direct you online to a specific place that the brand designated. And if that happened, the item is authentic.